Oh, hello. My name is JB Eagle, and I'm here for another review. So, what am I reviewing today? It's about space superheroes. I'm going to review the movie Guardians of the Galaxy. Many Marvel fans have crowded cinemas on the day the movie was released. I normally don't go see Marvel movies in cinemas because they're long. Now that I started this intro, let's go save the galaxy.
I'm hooked on a feeling. I'm high on believing that you're in love with me.
The story. I bring you the story from the universe. Brash space adventurer Peter Quill finds himself the quarry of relentless bounty hunters after he steals an orb coveted by Ronan, a powerful villain. To evade Ronan, Quill is forced into an uneasy truce with four disparate misfits: gun-toting Rocket Raccoon, tree-like humanoid Groot, enigmatic Gamora, and vengeance-driven Drax the Destroyer. But when he discovers the orb's true power and the cosmic threat it poses, Quill must rally his ragtag group to save the universe. This is a funny, zany, irreverent movie filled with heart, action, great performances, and likable characters. I imagine that plenty of viewers will walk away from this movie with a smile on their face and in need of breath from all the laughs. Behind the scenes. Let's see how this world full of space heroes came to be. The first dialogue scene shot was Quill's confrontation with Korath. Djimon Hounsou found his costume and makeup as Korath very uncomfortable and rigid. He channeled this discomfort into his action sequences. The scene in which Quill's ship almost crashes into the water on Morog was the scene James Gunn storyboarded for his pitch to Marvel to be the director. It was shot almost exactly it was originally conceived. The character Yondu supposedly sports a mohawk-style hair as depicted in comics, but James Gunn decided not to give his friend Michael Rooker a wig, reasoning that Rooker's clumsiness would be a foil to his acting. According to James Gunn, Ronan's ship, the Dark Aster, is designed after a mausoleum. It's minimal and brutal, a stark gray, colorless world devoid of any set dressing whatsoever and relying purely on its heavy concrete-like architecture to convey its tone and function. The Novacorps world, Xandar, is based mainly on the designs of modern Spanish architect Santiago Calatrava. The main cities seen from above on Xandar, as well as the ships flown by the Nova Corps, sport the same design as the logo on the helmet of Nova from the comics, who has close ties to the Guardians. Rocket Raccoon was modeled on a raccoon named Oreo living in the UK. Zoe Saldana nearly broke Chris Pratt's ribs while filming a fight sequence. During training, Pratt and Saldana would wear protective gear so they could actually hit each other. However, when the day came to film the scene, Pratt forgot to wear his protective gear and did not tell Saldana because he thought she would hold back if she knew. Saldana, under the impression he was wearing the gear like he usually did, kicked him square in the ribs, which made Pratt fall to the ground. According to Pratt, he had a bruise for the remainder of filming. Chris Pratt went on a very strict training regimen and diet for 6 months and dropped 60 pounds, eventually getting a six-pack for his shirtless scenes. He said it was a lot of hard work, almost torturous, but when he was filming his shirtless scenes and saw the playback on the monitor, he felt the effort was well worth it and was extremely excited to see the best possible physical version of himself. The scene where Peter drops the orb during the collector scene was not scripted. According to the commentary, Chris Pratt accidentally dropped it during filming but remained in character through the whole thing, so it stayed in the final film. Chris Pratt later revealed to James Gunn that he intentionally dropped the orb, figuring it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. When Groot pierces Drax's lung, which James Gunn called the grossest 3D shot in the film, they let the yellow vomit spurt up past the frame so it looks even more like it's going in your face. The 12% scene had 11.5 hours of raw footage. The mid-credits scene where Groot dances to I Want You Back was animated using footage of James Gunn dancing privately to the song. It took the makeup artists 5 hours daily to do makeup and apply 18 prosthetic tattoo pieces onto Dave Bautista. Chris Pratt revealed that during the process, Bautista stood the entire time with hands holding onto rails which had tennis balls on them, with no complaints whatsoever. Eventually, the process was narrowed down to an average of 3 hours, while 90 minutes were required to remove the makeup. Neither Rocket nor Groot were actually motion captured because Rocket's face is very different from a human's face. Instead, they are animated. Sean Gunn, who plays Kraglin, performed Rocket's actions, which was motion reference for the effects. Animators also used Bradley Cooper's actions while in the sound booth as a reference. James Gunn says it's unlikely that Cosmo the dog will be a guardian in future films because a real dog with real fur would present a challenge when sharing the screen with a CGI raccoon with CGI fur. Thanos was motion captured from Josh Brolin's performance. James Gunn suggests that character is shoehorned into the movie, but he acknowledges that this is setting up a bigger story. Gunn hated the long scene in which Gamora and Quill have a moment on the balcony, so on the day of shooting, he challenged the dialogue to make it work faster. According to producer Victoria Alonso, Rocket Raccoon and Groot were created through a mix of motion capture and rotomation visual effects. Vin Diesel recorded his lines wearing stilts so he could get a sense of how large Groot actually is. To the date, it is the only MCU movie in which Moving Picture Company has provided visual effects. To prepare for the role of Nebula, Karen Gillan shaved her head. The characters. Let's meet the Guardians of the Galaxy. A self-proclaimed legendary outlaw, Star-Lord was a member of the Space Thieves Ravagers who later formed a team with Gamora, Rocket Raccoon, Drax the Destroyer, and Groot to stop the evil Ronan the Accuser, and later to both protect the galaxy from threats while at the same time getting paid for services. Gamora is widely known as the most dangerous woman in the universe and skilled in the use of every weapon. She is a survivor of Thanos' massacre on half the Zen-Huburians. The strength she displayed as a child resisting Chitauri forces caught Thanos' eye that the warlord decided to take her in as one of his own once he killed her family. Rocket is an anthropomorphic raccoon with expert marksmanship and is a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy and also has anger issues. On the inside, he is short of lovable and much like Yondu, his fear and insecurity prompt him to conceal his genuine concern for his friends. Drax is a warrior whose family was murdered by Ronan the Accuser. He seeks vengeance on all those responsible or involved in his family's deaths, but comes to find a new one in his teammates. Then there's Groot, a tree-like humanoid who is the accomplice of Rocket. The only phrase he says is, "I am Groot." However, when he sacrifices himself to shield his teammates from Ronan's falling ship, he says, "We are Groot." He is voiced by Vin Diesel, who also voiced the Iron Giant.
I'm Groot. You stay. I'm come. No following.
In the original comics, Drax the Destroyer was a human named Arthur Douglas. Thanos attacked him and his family because he thought they'd seen his ship. He and his wife died. His daughter, Heather, survived the attack and was adopted by Mentor, Thanos' father. She's a powerful telepath who's been both villain and hero. Kronos, Thanos' grandfather, whose spirit had merged with time and space, resurrected Douglas as Drax the Destroyer, a living weapon designed to hunt and kill Thanos. The comic Drax was green, had super strength, could fly, and shoot powerful energy beams. Whenever he came face to face with Thanos, he went into a berserker rage. His anger ratcheted up his powers to equal Thanos. One fight between them was so intense that they shattered the planet they were on into debris. Guardians of the Galaxy was first published in January 1969 with a different team. The team in the film is also composed of characters who existed in Marvel Comics prior to Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope. Star-Lord appeared in Marvel Preview number 4 in January 1976. Rocket Raccoon appeared in Marvel Preview number 7 in the summer of 1976. Gamora appeared in Strange Tales number 180 in June 1975. Drax the Destroyer appeared in Iron Man number 55 in February 1973. Groot appeared in Tales to Astonish number 13 in November 1960. Starting with Guardians of the Galaxy, where one of the main characters is named Groot, the real-life stuntman Rob D. Groot became actor Dave Bautista's stunt double for the character Drax. Rob D. Groot appears in both Guardians and the James Bond movie Spectre from 2015 as well for Dave Bautista's character Hinx. Chris Pratt's character, Peter Quill, regrets refusing to say goodbye to his mother as she's dying in her hospital bed when he was a child. In the 2020 film Onward, Chris Pratt voices a character, Barley Lightfoot, who regrets refusing to say goodbye to his father when he's dying in his hospital bed when he was a child. The character Bug, a former thief who became a Guardian of the Galaxy, was included in early versions of the script. Early drafts of the script included him. He was even back in the Guardians comic relaunch to promote the character briefly. He was left out because Marvel doesn't own the film rights to the character. The Badoon, recurring enemies of the Guardians in the comics, couldn't be used since their rights belong to 20th Century Fox's Fantastic Four franchise, even though supplementary material has established their existence in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The Sakarans were used to fill the gap. The character of the Other, as voiced by Alexis Denisov, first appeared in The Avengers. He was the one who gave Loki the staff that contains the Infinity Mind Stone confirmed in Avengers Age of Ultron. He also appeared in the post-credits scene introducing Thanos. Early drafts featured Nova, although it's unclear as to which Nova, Richard Rider or Sam Alexander, as a central character. He was cut once James Gunn took over, as he took away focus from Star-Lord's story and because Gunn dislikes the character. In the comics, Drax is green. However, for the film, his color was changed to a muddier gray, partly because the movie already had a bright green character named Gamora, but mostly to distinguish his appearance from the Hulk. James Gunn wanted to have Rom the Space Knight pop up in the movie but was unable to do so because Marvel did not have the rights to use the character. It is currently owned by Hasbro after it acquired Parker Brothers. In the film, Ronan the Accuser is an admiral serving under Thanos. This combines his classic Marvel Comics portrayal, a top-ranking military governor, with his Marvel Ultimate Comics portrayal, an ally of Thanos. In the space prison, Peter Quill's description mentions aka Space Lord. This is a reference to the running gag that no one seems to remember Quill's outlaw name, Star-Lord, throughout the film. In the comic books, Quill's father is Jason. However, Gunn does not like the name Jason, so he suggests his father is someone else, which he won't name publicly because that's being saved for the sequel. Cosmo, a telepathic dog from the early Soviet space missions and member of the Guardians of the Galaxy in the comics, has a cameo during the collector's scenes on Nowhere. That is all I have for you. I'll see you later.
I'm hooked on a feeling. I'm high on believing that you're in love with me. I'm hooked on a